this in a different way. But with this particular thing, it's something to do about writing, about story. That this story has no end.
What do you mean? Which story?
The story of the war in Iraq, it hasn't finalized. There is no end. So that is why many people are hooked, angry. They cannot close the book. There is a novel there that has started to be written, but hasn't been closed. And yesterday was a woman on the public in which actually say something that it didn't make sense, but she had to do it because she's hooked. Like many other people hooked. In some way, like I'm hooked, I'm trying to hook myself to that story.
So what's the story? What's the hook?
The hook. Well, I mean, hook in the sense colgado. We are trapped.
Yeah.
We are trapped into a story.
Yeah. But what is this? What is that?
The trap is exactly that. That the things didn't work as we are expected to work.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So basically, we are expected if somebody committed a crime to get punished. If somebody falls in the head. If you're expected to cross the road in red, you're expecting things to happen in a particular way. That's how stories are built.
That's a fairy tale, though.
All kinds of stories.
Yeah.
But all have a, they have a beginning, end, development, and close, and that. And if you tell with your kids, telling a story in which the things happen are expected to happen, but suddenly the body goes caught by the police, but the police say, well, let's have a cup of tea. And then, Philip will say, Sonny, but it cannot be like that. It cannot be like that. But if you read the story, he wouldn't sleep. He wouldn't go to bed. He would say, it will be just going.
You think so? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. You have a few stories that, the body wins.
Yeah, but I mean, as long as there is a logic, internal logic.
Right. But then in this one there isn't the internal logic.
It doesn't help. That is why the people are still trapped. That is what the woman yesterday came in the public in the middle of something didn't have very much to do. But the fact is that Tony Blair lied like that, and we went to the wall. She cannot make sense. We're happy there are many people at this moment that they are not making sense of what's happening because the story hasn't finished, because the things didn't work to plan.
But do you think that for her it is something to do with democracy, for that woman, or is it something to do with justice?
With justice? It has to do with democracy. It has to do with stories.
With stories.
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 Because we listen stories. I mean, stories are part of it.
Okay.
Are very much important part of the
narrative.
Narrative.
Yeah, the narrative.
Yeah, I should call it narrative more than stories.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're used to some kind of narrative to things that work. So for many people, this narrative it just doesn't work. So, you can see it. I mean, every time there's question time, there will be always somebody that will get there and will say something, because this story has not ended properly. The body didn't get, that's the thing is, the saddest thing is that I think even Tony Blair is going to pay a price for that, because he's also aware of that. So he's not happy. But I mean,
you're saying he's not a happy man because he wants to, he kind of got away from it and thinks, hey, nobody caught me here, maybe I'll try it again.
I don't know if you realize, but I mean, at the height of when Tony Blair was doing all this stuff.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
At the height of when, you're bloody recording me. Well, at the height of when Tony Blair was doing all his crap, all his lies and other stuff, there were lots of articles in newspapers about psychology. I mean, about the psychology of human psychology. It was exactly, I remember reading the newspapers and thinking, oh my God, I want to read articles about politics, about what happens in society. I don't want to read about psychology. The thing is, the way that Tony Blair was doing politics, he had to do quite a lot of
psychology.
Well, all the newspapers, all the columnists were talking about, his psychology, why he took actions that because they were talking about his psychology. I mean, the thrill, they were talking about the thrill that he feels, the thrill that,
Yeah, but that is kind of the personalization of, politics in the media, if you like.
In this particular case, different.
Well, kind of imagine, I'm sorry, no, imagining exercises of what you can never know, really,
I don't think, in this particular case, he was, you know, I mean, sometimes, you know, these student medical institutions, they're characterized by a particular feature, they get described in the media, one way or the other. But in this particular case, he was...
Hiya. All right? Yeah, right. Good to see you. See you around.
But in this particular occasion, he was very much about.
And I sort of caught up with him and Sarah upstairs. Yeah.
In this he was actually, you know, going to psychology to try to understand some of his political
Thinking.
thinking and actions. I mean, they were thinking, what on earth is doing that? And they were explaining, you know, all about through his psychology, how he felt about that and all that. So it's, that for me, that for instance, I think as well, you know, he thinks that as well part of this story that hasn't, you know, I mean, he knows that he got away with it.
Yeah.
So in a way, he's as well in this land, I mean, you know, in this place, this no place, because he, you know, he just got away, he's the one that got away with it.
He's the one that got away.
Everybody knows. I mean,
Everybody knows, yeah.
He knows it. Everybody knows it. He got away with it. So I don't think it can be a very happy man, really.
Yeah, it could be. Hey, hi. All right. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. Yeah,
you're all right.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, fine. Yeah, I guess that you need to know here because David knows how to be very these days. Yeah, fine.
You have a good Easter and stuff? You doing fun things? What are you up to?
Oh, beach kids thing.
Yeah, beach, all that stuff. Yeah, but I was away in Newcastle. I have a song in Newcastle, so I went there for a week. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, little things here and there.
Yeah, that's good.